Tree says Ancestors will be released August 27th, and you can learn more at ancestorsgame.com.
Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Loring Lee, founder and CEO of Dragon Nest.
Indeed, Auto Chess has turned out to be a sensation, with hundreds of thousands, millions of players getting a taste of it. And here to talk about its coming to PC is Loring Lee. Take it away, Loring.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Loring Lee. Yeah, hello, yeah. I'm the CEO and founder of Dragon Game. Dragon Game is a game developer and publisher, comes from China. I'm so happy to be here today on this stage to introduce our game, Auto Chess, to all of you. This is really exciting moment for us. As the trailer says, this is a real engaging game of Auto Chess. Dragon now is working with the creator of Auto Chess, Jodo Studio. We are working together to bring Auto Chess to our world, both on PC and mobile, so that everyone from anywhere with any device can enjoy the same fun of Auto Chess. Now we are building the PC version with, by using the game engine of Unreal Engine 4. As everyone knows, Unreal Engine is one of the best game engines of the world. With the help of Epic Games and by the power of Unreal, I believe we can finish our job quickly and efficiently. And today, I'm very glad to announce the PC version of Auto Chess will be coming to the Epic Games Store. I look forward to all of you playing Auto Chess on PC later this year. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Loring Lee.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing the news with us. Once again, Auto Chess, if you have not played it, you must check it out. It is so fun. Our next title with Frankie up above, I understand is an inspired indie game.
We'll find out, Sean, because one of the things we love about PC gaming is the way that game creators from all over the world can draw inspiration from one another's work. Crucial Tales is a great example of that, a gorgeous indie love letter to classic JRPGs developed by a team in Colombia. Crucial Tales' spin on the genre brings a unique perspective that lets you see the past, present, and future on one screen at the same time. So you'll see the future change based on your decisions in real time. Here's the world-exclusive reveal of Crucial Tales.
If you saw what was, what is, and what would be. If you knew how it ends. Would you change it? Could you make the hard decisions? And would you be strong enough to fight? If you learn from the past and act in the present, you can rewrite the future.
In PC gaming, it's not the size of your weapon, it's how you use it. And I'm holding one of the, well quite frankly, it's a bit average, isn't it? It's just your average, Glock, really. No, it's one of the ridiculous alien weapons from our next game, Valfaris, a brutal, heavy metal-infused 2G action platformer inspired by true old-school classics like Contra and Turrican. Assuming the role of fearless warrior Therium, players must blast and slash their way through the doomed citadel of Valfaris, overcoming its deadly environments and enemies before challenging the arcane evil at its very heart. Get ready to rip the galaxy a new wormhole. From publisher Big Sugar, this is Valfaris.
Incredible action in the Valfaris trailer. I'm very excited for our next guest. In case you have not been in downtown LA, E3 is covered with Borderlands 3 art. It's amazing, it's beautiful. And joining me is the amazing and beautiful Paul Sage, creative director of Borderlands 3.
Beautiful's a new one, thanks.
Yeah, there you go, Paul. Right. Welcome. I mean, there's been so much hype around Borderlands 3. What's the stuff you're really excited to be sharing this year at E3?
Oh man, so we've talked about our Vault Hunters. Well, this time we get to talk about Mose, and she is our gunner Vault Hunter, so she has a big mech, so it's one of the things. All about loot. We're talking about, the different loot, such as shields, grenades, those things, going to different planets, so a lot of stuff to talk about.
Well, I want to start right off with Mose. Tell us everything you can about her.
Okay, yes, I'll tell you everything I can. So Mose, again, like I said, she's a mech pilot. She has this big mech, it's called Iron Bear. She gets into Iron Bear.
Yeah.
We have multiple action skills, which means that she can equip either a minigun or a railgun or a flamethrower. If you want to barbecue your enemies, something like that.
Oh, so, nice. Mix and match.
Yeah, Mose is a terrifically fun character for us right now.
Now, we've been excited to be collating a whole bunch of community questions. We're going to break them into two categories. First, there's a whole bunch of repeat questions that I want to make sure we get to right now. One of the big categories is about loot, because you've mentioned having a billion guns earlier, but what can you tell us about some of the other gear, the other progression systems in the game?
Yeah, so let's talk about grenades, like one of my favorite things that we don't get to talk about a lot. So in the past, we've had grenades that they've had like one thing, they can bounce, they can stick to different things, you know.
Yeah.
This time we're combining like all of those things. So for instance, the other day I was playing and I threw a grenade and that grenade had a bounce, it would stick, an explosion would come out, and the grenade would fire guns as it was going through, right? So we have like a ton of different grenades that are in there. Shield where if you duck, that shield will extend out in front of you, you know, so just tons of different things that we have with our characters. Class mods are unique, and that they give you skills this time as well as enhancing the skills you currently have.
I also remember earlier you mentioned about artifacts. What are those?
So artifacts are, you know, we've kind of concentrated on like, hey, does the game feel fluid? Can I, you know, slide into things? Can I jump? Can I mantle? Right. So when we were playing with that, we slid into a barrel, right, and the barrel exploded, and we're like, well, that's kind of fun. Yeah. So why don't we do something like that? So our artifacts actually add certain things to movement. So for instance, you can slide faster. You can slide, and every time you slide, there's an explosion. We have something we call
second category of questions unrelated to loot. Well, there's going to be a single-player campaign. What will be happening after the campaign? What are some of the beyond the single-player, maybe end-game you can talk about?
All right, in-game content. Okay, well, it's E3, so I'll give a little bit. So we have this thing what we call the Guardian system. So for those people who played Borderlands before, you might remember Badass Ranks. Badass Ranks, you can get, you know, it's basically kind of an infinite progression system that added to your stats.
Yeah.
We doubled down on that. We have what we call Guardian Rank. And Guardian Rank not only has that infinite progression, but it has skills and different skins that you can open up as you go through. And the cool thing about that is like every character that you play on that account gets the benefits of Guardian Rank.
Oh, interesting. All right, last category we're going to go through, and then we're going to hit some rapid-fire questions. How do the boss fights in Borderlands 3 compare to Borderlands 1 and 2? I know those were big aspects. How do you build upon that?
Right, so I think of a boss fight, you know, like I'm an old school Nintendo fan, right? So I love huge boss fights that have like three phases and stuff like that. So now those people, you know, smart people in the audience know that we've talked about going to vaults instead of vault, right? And so there are different like huge boss encounters there that are just, you know, multi-phase boss encounters. We have like a lot of different mini bosses throughout the game, so a lot of different boss encounters throughout the game.
Well, now I want to ask some really quick questions that should be yes or no, very brief. First from Castore, how will you be handling multiplayer?
Multiplayer, we will basically be allowing anybody to jump in at any time, so.
Awesome. From MHL Animations, can I pet the gun? Great question.
I'm not here to judge what you do with your gun, so you know, that's a personal question.
All right, great. Sam Wiseman asks, is Maya's new companion a siren?
People are asking the right questions. That's what I will say about that.
Oh, you tease.
Sorry.
All right, from Ironic Sanguine says, is Tiny Tina going to be seen fighting alongside the Vault Hunters?
Yes.
Nice. All right, I'm just going to blast through a couple more as fast as I possibly can. Right. What's the level cap at launch?
50.
Will we get to see flak?
Yes.
Will we see golden keys and or shift codes for Borderlands 3?
Absolutely.
Will there be duels?
Yes.
Other kinds of PvP?
Yes and no.
And also maybe.
And
perfect.
Maybe, yeah.
And will you be able to transfer weapons between your characters?
Absolutely, right from the start.
Perfect. And when is the damn game coming out?
Friday the 13th, 2019, September 13th.
Perfect. Borderlands.com for more information. Thanks so much for joining me on stage.
Sean, thank you.
And once again, if you have not seen all the setups in downtown for Borderlands 3, they're beautiful. Our next game, we're going to be revisiting a guest that we saw earlier in the show. He's upstairs with Frankie. What you got for us?
Oh, hi, we're live. Sorry. Hello, I was just, I was actually testing out my outfit for this weekend. I don't know, what do you think, John?
I think you look really sharp, as always.
Very sharp. Well, thank you so much. John Gibson, president of Tripwire, thank you for joining us again on the show.
Yeah, very
busy man, yes.
Yes.
Now, last year, we revealed Man-Eater to the world. And can you remind anyone who missed it what the game's all about?
Absolutely. Man-Eater is an open-world action RPG, or Shark PG as we call it. You start as a small baby shark pup, and you have to survive in this harsh world and try to eat your way to the top of the ecosystem. The 3 words that we think sum the game up the best are eat, explore, and evolve. And we also have someone we'd like you to meet.
Well, let's meet him then. Let's take a look at the new trailer.
Come any closer with that camera, we two gonna tussle.
John, who was that appallingly dressed fisherman in the trailer? Because quite frankly, not even I would eat him.
That was Scaly Pete. And Scaly Pete's the villain in this tale. Pete is a best fisherman in the Gulf, the best shark fisherman, or he'll tell you he's the best shark fisherman. And he disfigures our baby shark at the beginning of the game and does some really nasty things. So he's not a very nice guy. And now the story of Maneater is told through the lens of a reality show called Shark Hunters versus Maneaters. And it follows Pete and the player shark on its adventures. And you know, it's a really, you know, it's a very exciting way to tell a story.
And based on that trailer, to be honest, John, it looks like your main goal of the shark is to just bite everything.
Yeah, there is an awful lot of man-eating going on in this game. That is the name of the game. And but we'd like to think of the game as a shark-tastic fun action game. It's like GTA if you were a shark. But there's there is more to the game than just eating. So we spent a lot of time moving through the water, breaching out, and adding abilities to go up on the beach for an afternoon snack. There's a lot of exciting things that you can do in the game.
And you mentioned before it's a shark PG. How does that progression system work?
So there's 3 facets to the shark PG elements of the game. There's growth, there's life phases, and there's evolutions. So growth comes about through eating things, nutrients, people, whatever you can find. And that's kind of like your XP in the game. That allows you to level up, your shark will grow a little bit, you'll get more powerful. And then at key phases that we call life phases, you'll make a big jump. So let's say you're a brooding teenage shark and you're about to become an adult. When you become an adult, you take a big leap in size, a big leap in power and capability. And then as you reach these life phases, you unlock evolutions that can be applied to parts of the shark's body. For example, you could get metallic teeth that allow you to shred boats, or a powerful tail that allows you to jump to incredible heights, or you could get mutated lungs that allow you to spend a little more time on the beach getting those afternoon snacks.
Just really quickly, John, everyone's wanting to know this question. When's it coming out?
So we're really hard hammerheading away at this game and trying to make it the most awesome shark RPG ever. We're not ready to announce a date, but we're pretty certain you're going to see it before the next PC gaming show.
Well, I hope we do, John. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start biting people. In fact, I'm quite hungry at the moment, so I think actually I'm going to find an audience member because you guys look tasty. So I'll see you in a bit. I'm just going to have a snack. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
You know, one of the absolute best parts about being sponsored by iWin for the PC Gaming Show is that I get to sit for this next segment and talk to you about Terraria. Terraria is one of the best-selling PC games of all time, selling almost 30 million copies. And part of the reason why it's maintained such popularity is the fact that the developers Relogic continue to add content, going from 250 items at release to now over 4,000. Let's take a look at their penultimate expansion coming up, Terraria Journey's End. The next title that we're going to be looking at is a game that is the spiritual successor to Her Story. It's called Telling Lies by Annapurna Interactive, and joining me to talk about it is game director Sam Barlow and actor-producer Logan Marshall Green. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Nice to be here.
Yeah.
My main man.
Now, if you haven't played Her Story, you totally should. It's fantastic. I want to note, it is a game where you watch live interactive video in order to uncover what happened with a murder. What is it that's going on in Telling Lies? What's the premise?
So, like Her Story, Telling Lies is a game in which you watch video footage to piece together a story. And this time we have a woman who has stolen an NSA hard drive, which contains secretly recorded intimate and private conversations between our four characters. Something has gone terribly wrong, and it's up to you to figure out what and why.
It's time to take a look at some of the gameplay mechanics and see Telling Lies in action. Let's take a look.
Once upon a time.
It's late. I gotta get her in the bath.
I don't love you and I don't miss you.
You already know too much. It's late. I gotta get her in the bath. Love you. Love you.
I've only ever been in love once. It was with a girl I met when I was 18, but I was too young and naive to handle it properly. I guess I still carry a torch for it, which makes me an incurable romantic or underdeveloped emotionally. I'm a loyal friend.
A man died in my house at work today.
Oh, Sam, I got some questions for you about what we've just seen. I mean, talk to me about the mechanics. I mean, I saw, the subtitles up, highlighting, and it was loading more video footage. What's going on?
So what we do in Telling Lies is we take all of the exploration you would have in a normal video game. So all that walking around in a 3D world.
Yeah.
And we apply that directly to the story, to the footage itself. So you're going to be scrubbing around in these clips, paying close attention, and you're going to be picking up on the subtext, listening to names, people, places. And with that information, you're going to use that to find more clips, dig into those, and over time kind of build up this picture of the story. And it's truly like an open world video game.
Well, I mean, a lot of times with open world video games, they talk about, the square kilometerage or miles in America. What's the sort of scope that we're talking about? Like, how many hours of footage is there?
So we got like over 10 hours of footage here.
Wow,
so
really?
It's a story that encompasses like 2 years what I wanted to do with this one was, like I say, really embrace this idea of it being an open world game. You're free to explore and follow your curiosity. Just lose yourself in this story, all the characters. It's this huge, messy, colorful story that we're trying to tell.
Well, I'm curious, Logan, as a performer in this kind of game, what is it like to actually try to have all the layers in there for each performance, also not knowing when a player is going to be seeing the specific footage you're performing?
Well, it's definitely a non-linear open world game, but our approach and Sam's approach was not unlike a movie or a TV show, and we had to understand it A to B. And so for the most part, that's how we shot it. Obviously, when you're shooting a movie or a TV show, and in this case, a game, you're going to be shooting out of order, but we actually stayed pretty linear in how we approached the story. We went after it like all the other times we're actors. We just went after intention and what do we want, and we tried to make it as deep. You know, it's got a lot of scope. But we wanted to make it as deep as possible, and Sam is one of the best movie or TV directors I've worked with, so it was very similar.
Nice. Yeah, look at you two. Now, of course, I do want to stress to any of you, if you have not played Her Story, it's quick to play through. It's absolutely brilliant. Please check it out in the meantime. But we're, of course, waiting to find out, when can we play Telling Lies?
Very soon. Very soon, I promise. We'll have a date soon. Right now, you can go to Steam. You can wishlist it on Steam. We all love Steam. And yeah, very soon. We'll be showing a little bit more during E3, and the game will be out, very soon.
Fantastic.
Desperate to get it out there. People to play it.
As soon as humanly possible. Well, Sam, Logan, thanks so much for joining me on stage. Once again, Telling Lies. Now, up on the balcony, Frankie's going to be talking to us about a game that my friends, year after year after year, keep telling me I have to play because of how much they've improved it. Frankie, what's going on with Warframe?
Well, one of my favorite parts of last year's show, aside from being upstaged by a giant duck, was getting a glimpse at the future of Warframe. And here with the latest look at the next expansion to the universe is Space Mum Rebecca Ford. So, chat, behave yourselves, please, because Mother's here. Now, Rebecca, what are we about to see?
We're going to take a look at an amazing trailer that our team has put together. A lot of our players have been waiting a year for a look at what we've been calling Railjack, so it's about time to, you know, see what we've been doing.
Yeah, let's take a look. Rebecca, it must be so exciting to know that the fans have finally seen it, and you're clearly going all in on the epic space combat. So tell me about the new stuff that players are going to be able to experience.
I wasn't shaking before we started talking, and now I am because it's real, because, you know, Empyrean is what we're calling codename Railjack. It's basically taking the space ninja part of Warframe, sending it back up to space, bringing players that squad gameplay they know, taking the enemies like the Corpus and the Grineer, giving them their own Railjack to essentially explore the solar system with and take down the bad guys.
And when are fans going to get to see more?
Well, TennoCon is in London, Ontario. It's July 6th, and you can come watch it online on Twitch. We're going to be showing a lot more in our keynote for what Empyrean is going to be.
Well, today I'm getting a feel for the suit. So what's the deal with that sweet-looking Necros Prime? How do I get my Tenno arms into it?
I cannot say that on live television, but you know, there are ways. But yeah, you just have to link your Warframe account to your Twitch account. If you watch 30 minutes of our Tenno live show, you can get it. But hopefully you stay for the whole hour because we got lots to show.
Well, thank you so much, Rebecca, and good luck with TennoCon on July 6th.
Thank you.
Okay, now we've seen some amazing stuff today, but nothing quite so gloriously strange as our next game. Developed by Brooklyn-based studio Feral Cat Den, it's an existential space chat odyssey set during the Big Bang. Yeah, it's actually blown my mind learning about this one. Buckle up, everyone, because we're about to get bonkers with Genesis Noir.
Genesis Noir, just beautiful, stylish art. The next game we're going to take a look at is the twist on the stealth genre. It's called El Hijo, where you play as a 6-year-old trying to escape a monastery and find your mother using toys and tricks to avoid monks. Let's take a look at this gorgeous spaghetti western-inspired project from Studio Handy Games. El Hijo, once again, is the title of the trailer we just saw. For our final guest tonight, please join me in welcoming from Larian Studios, CEO Sven Vinke, and from Dungeons & Dragons at Wizards of the Coast, the creative director of Dungeons & Dragons, Mike Merles, to talk about Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah! Now, this was only just recently announced. How did this partnership come about?
We went to see Wizards of the Coast at the end of Divinity Original Sin 1.
Yeah.
That was back in 2014. And I tried to convince them back then that they should give us the Baldur's Gate 3 license. And they said, but we had a long chat about what the vision would be for the game. And then we kept on bumping into each other. And then suddenly in 2016, I get a phone call from Nathan Stewart, who's the big boss of Mike and the head of Dungeons & Dragons. He said, you need to come to Seattle right away. We're going to have dinner in a very shady restaurant. And he had this big stack of paper with him. And on it was Baldur's Gate 3. And in it was pretty much everything that we talked about. And he says, I'm going to present this to my board. Do you still want to do it? I said, yeah, of course I still want to do it. And then a couple of weeks later, we started negotiating. And here we are.
I mean, what does the Baldur's Gate franchise mean to you, Mike?
Oh, to me, it's the crown jewel of D&D computer games, right? I mean, for me personally, Baldur's Gate, the original one, was finally I had the chance to actually play a D&D campaign rather than having to run them for all my friends. So it means so much to us. Baldur's Gate, it's such fantastic storytelling, and it's so exciting to see it come to not only a new generation of gamers, but for the gamers who remember the 20 years it's been since the original, the first two in the series. So it's incredibly exciting. And for us, it's such an important part of the D&D mythos as a whole.
And we got a chance to see the trailer. Talk to me about some of the story elements, the world elements. What are things we're going to see in Baldur's Gate 3?
Well, we're only talking about what's in the trailer right now, but obviously you're going to go to the city, because we start with the city. You start outside of the city, actually. There's going to be mind flayers. They're very nasty. You are seeing in the trailer the process of ceremorphosis, as we call it. It's accelerated, so that's not normal.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a lot of iconic creatures, iconic characters, iconic places, and that's as far as we go.
I'm curious about some of the gameplay elements, because obviously, there's just been a big resurgence of Dungeons & Dragons, tons of broadcasts on Twitch. I mean, how do you translate some of the insane things that players want to do into, what has to be a structured computer game?
So we started with the player handbook, which is basically the basic rule set of Dungeons & Dragons.
Which player handbook? Which edition?
5th edition. 5th edition.
Great. Yeah.
And so we ported as much as we could to the video game. We looked at what works really well. We looked at the things that didn't work that well, because it is a video game, and this was made for tabletop gaming. And so we started modifying those things, and then we had to add things on top of it because if you play tabletop, you have a game master and you say, well, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And then the
I
game
want to start a fight with a pigeon. And he's like, okay, roll for dexterity.
Sure. Exactly. That's it. So we had to add systems to make that possible within the game. But we've gone very, very far.
Yeah. I mean, can you give an example of like a crazy moment that a player might do that you could actually play out in the game?
Well, I could, let's say that we get into a fight because you ask a nasty question, I don't want to answer it. And I take the chair over there, I put it on fire, smash it on your head. Well, just as an example.
It's just an example, this is fine, we're just talking,
These are things that we have to put systems into the game for to do it, which are not necessarily going to be described inside of the book.
Interesting. And I mean, like, Mike, in terms of your role, speaking to Larian Studios, you have tons of data of all the sorts of things that players do. What's the sort of information that you provide in assistance?
Well, really what it comes down to is providing the story support. You know, we think of Dungeons & Dragons, the universe of D&D. It's like a toy box for dungeon masters and players to go into and build their own stories. So working with Larry and working with Sven, a lot of it was just opening up that toy box and sharing it. And giving that kind of guidance. You know, like I remember one of our first meetings, we just laid out a map of Baldur's Gate and the Sword Coast and asking a lot of questions, like what kind of story do you want to tell? Where do we want to go? What are the cool locations we've always wanted to put into a game like this? And then in terms of the system support, you know, what does it mean in terms of the story for each character, for each character race, each character class? So that if you have your favorite class and it's in the game, you really feel like you're taking on that role that you love so much from the tabletop. It's really coming to life in an authentic way in Baldur's Gate 3.
And we're going to talk in a moment about Baldur's Gate 3 release dates and whatnot, but we have a second game that we want to talk about on a new technology known as pencil and paper. I understand that there is a tabletop prequel coming for Baldur's Gate.
Exactly. So in Baldur's Gate, we think there's one saga, all the different games coming together to tell one grand story of this city. So on September 17th, we're releasing our next tabletop campaign, Baldur's Gate, Descent into Avernus, and it is the next chapter in the Baldur's Gate saga, and it's a prequel to Baldur's Gate 3. So if you haven't played a Baldur's Gate game since Baldur's Gate 1 or 2, this is your chance to check out on the history. It's been about 100 years since the events of Baldur's Gate 2.
Yeah.
So this will give you a chance to check in on the city, to see what's going on, its current state, who the movers and shakers are. We also feature a complete levels 1 to 13 campaign that takes you from the mean streets of Baldur's Gate to the depths of hell itself. And sort of pose to the players a question, do you want to redeem Baldur's Gate or send it to damnation? So we're putting that right in players' hands to make that choice.
Well, I have to ask Sven, it's a question on a lot of people's minds. What can you talk to us about expected release time frames?
So people have been waiting for it for a long time.
Yeah.
They're going to have to wait a little bit more when it's ready. This is the game that we want to play, so we want to make sure it's really, really good. And then when that's the case, then we'll release it.
Well, I know a lot of people have been waiting a long time, and I think I speak for a lot of people here when I say, take your time. If the Divinity Original Sin games are any indication of the quality, it's going to be fantastic and worth the wait. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me on stage.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ben and Mike talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Goodbye. Goodbye, guys. Why are they leaving? Well, it's because the PC gaming show has officially concluded. Let's bring up on the stage the fantastic Frankie Ward. Come here, Frankie.
Hello. Well, thank you so much, Sean. Hasn't this audience been absolutely fantastic today?
Guys, thank you so much for coming out to the 5th annual PC Gaming Show. We want to give an enormous thanks to all of you who tuned in live. We want to, of course, thank all of you who personally showed up this morning, and of course the sponsors who helped make this possible. Epic Game Store, iWin, Frontier, Funcom, Paradox, Interactive, Hovercast, Perfect World, Rebellion, Tripwire, and Samsung. As you know, PC gaming is a platform. It's not a publisher or developer, so these sponsors are essential for letting us put on this show every year. Thank you so much. And I gotta ask, Frank, any titles you're excited about?
Well, I do love a baby elephant, so definitely Planet Zoo, and slightly more awkwardly then I also want to eat things, maybe elephants included, so Man-Eater, of course.
I'm personally looking forward to Songs of Conquest, and as you heard, there's games coming out all across 2019 and into 2020. We hope you all have a fantastic E3. It officially begins tomorrow. Big shout out to all the other press conferences. Hello again, Dropped Frames. Good to see you 2 years in a row. We hope you all have a fantastic time at E3 and go play some games and make some friends. See you next year. Bye.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Think she can't get a last-second clutch? Watch this. Think he can't carry his team while streaming in high resolution? All the while recording a once-in-a-lifetime win? Watch this. Think leveling up only happens in-game? Watch this. On Intel Core i7, they'll rise to every challenge. Now it's your turn. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
When my father saved my life, he told me never to forget who I am, where I come from. But in this place, nobody even wants to know my name. Getting attached is deadly. Because when darkness comes, I might be gone.